Look, Monte Carlo should be driven smoothly and quietly.
Monaco, baby! Yeah!
It's Monte Carlo or bust when these 5 lights go out.
3 days a year, mayhem strikes the peaceful Principality of Monaco.
You get everything that you meet on a public road. Lampposts, trees, nightclubs, houses, hotels.
You really see nothing else other than the narrow road, the armcos and the walls, and your wheels.
A huge accident on Saturday morning.
And there goes Prost! Oh, what an incredible development!
Monaco is the last urban racetrack, a survivor, a tradition, a unique exception. Elsewhere, the circuits are made to measure with high-tech track surfaces, stringent security facilities to keep the public at a safe distance, and vast open spaces for anyone clumsy or foolhardy enough to miss a turn. Monaco has none of these amenities. But despite, or indeed because of that, it is the greatest event on the calendar for motor racing fans the world over. The winner in Monaco doesn't score more points than anywhere else. But for one day, he is crowned king of the track, king of Monaco.
You have won the Monaco Grand Prix. Brilliant drive. Well done.
Woo! Super, guys, super. As they go round the Hotel de Paris and into Casino Square, and heavenly praise, we have got a clean start.
Qualifying at the front of the grid or obtaining pole position is more than important in Monaco. It can mean a driver has one foot on the podium.
Dude, guys, fantastic job, as always.
You know, you can't overtake here, and you very, very rarely do you ever get an opportunity. It's just ridiculous, man. I mean, these drivers are absolutely freaking ridiculous. It's stupid.
It is a very difficult circuit for overtaking.
Well, the Monaco track is very challenging because you have very small margin for error.
I think that pole position is still the best place to be, but it doesn't mean that if you qualify P3 you haven't got a chance of winning the race.
Monaco is the blue blood of Formula One. In this real-life land of princes, motorsport comes to fly its own regal colours. A victory in the Grimaldi's realm is synonymous with a sporting knighthood. The hierarchy of talents here is as obvious as the wide range of luxury homes and palaces, and glory is conquered in fractions of a second, daring attacks and audacious risk-taking.
The Monaco Grand Prix, the biggest race on the F1 Speed League's calendar. This is the one they all want to win. Watch all the action unfold next on Sliders TV. Hello and welcome to the biggest race of the year. It's the Monaco Grand Prix, the 9th season of the F1 Speed League. Sliders TV is back on your screens. I'm James Tucker, and joining me in the booth is Jonathan Holmes and Sam Jones. How are you two?
I'm good, thank you. Should be a good race. Monaco has lots to offer.
Yep, it's an honour to be here for the greatest race of the season in F1SL.
As you can see, this race has been completely dominated by Pelbal and Doman. Doman, the 4-time champion, also a 4-time winner around Monaco, and Pelbal is also a 4-time winner around Monaco. So look for him to be strong again today. Qualifying 1 was an interesting session with Salus leading, and Mike Knight second, Doman third, Sebol, Simza, Arsen, Arjun, Blam, Shy Guy, Shimek and Pingu. Big surprises to fall out there in the first qualifying session. But certainly not surprised to see that fast pace from Jono, Lands, the winner last time out in Valencia, of course. Then the top 7, Q2. Mike Knight took another pole, with Lands joining him on the front row, so that should be an exciting battle to watch. The 2 McLarens are on the second row, Doman and Wockinger. Creechman is in 5th, Jono 6th, and Salas, after that great Q1 session, is all the way down in 7th. So, we won't delay it any longer, let's get the Monaco Grand Prix underway. The lights are on, and we are go! Up to Saint-Devote, Lands gets a great start, it looks like. Mike Knight is pulling across the block, and they're through Saint-Devote, and Doman has a great run to the outside, but Lands shuts him off, and looks like that's Shimek alongside Wockinger, but can't get through. There's a crash! A massive crash! Mike Knight goes into the wall at Casino Square, and there's a large crash. Lands leads the Monaco Grand Prix from Creechman and Jono. Lots of fighting down into the Casino hairpin, and looks like there's more contact there. Doman and Wockinger, a line of stern going through the tunnel, and that's Shimek all over the back of Wockinger there. And Shimek's got a good exit, and he's alongside Wockinger on a fantastic pass into the back. Great pass from Shimek, he's up a position, but a crazy start with Mike Knight losing out from the pole position. Looks like he's all the way back down near last place after that horrendous crash into Casino Square. And now this is Shimek now attacking Doman. He's made a fast start, and Jono for Caterham having problems. And he lets Shimek through, as he should there.
Yep, Jono, a newcomer here today. This is his first race in F1SL, and he had a great start, but now he's falling back behind the more experienced guys.
Yeah, just on the power too early there, out of Saint-Devote, and we've got a 4-way battle here, and that's Mike Knight battling with Sebol and Arson, and that would be one of the Marussia cars. Meanwhile, Lands leads from Creechman, making an incredible start from 5th place on the grid, and obviously managed to thread his way through all that carnage there up in turn 2. Meanwhile, here is Shimek in a McLaren sandwich, and he goes over the curb and loses plenty of positions as Shy Guy goes around 2 cars there, and problems for Creechman as Doman gets past him as he's very slow out of anti-nose, and now he's side by side with Wockinger into the first corner, and it's like a bit of a rough move there from Creechman, cutting off Wockinger. Meanwhile, Shy Guy and Jono in the Caterham split Wockinger, and now they're side by side in the Casino hairpin. Fantastic battling earlier in the Monaco Grand Prix.
There's hardly any room to manoeuvre here. There's barriers on both sides. If you make a little mistake, you're in the barrier, you're stuck, and you're bound to lose at least one and probably more positions.
And it looks like Creechman made quite a wild dive and passed 2 cars there with a bit of contact. Not a very clean start from him after he avoided all that carnage on the first lap. Meanwhile, that's Wockinger all over the back of Pingu after it looks like he lost out there. I'm only on lap 3, and there's been more overtakes than you'd ever expect in a Monaco Grand Prix. This is quite incredible. And Wockinger makes a dive and loses out. A very audacious dive there from Wockinger on Jono. And meanwhile, here's Creechman having to defend against Pingu into turn 1. And Pingu goes wide into the wall. He loses a position. He's going to lose another one there to Wockinger. Looks like he's slowing. Has he got a problem? No, perhaps team orders there. In Mike Knight pass. There's a replay at the start there. Jono, take us through it.
Yeah, you can see Lands gets a pretty good start when he comes off the line, but Mike Knight goes across to defend that line. He takes the first bend so tight, nearly clips that wall, but he gets a good drive onto the straight. You can see Doman comes along alongside Lands, but Mike Knight just goes straight into the wall, and there's a massive pileup behind. And it looks like Jono just gets popped out of there. We might get to see another replay of that.
And Salas, you could see there, also made contact with the outside wall coming out of the next corner as well. Yeah, I'm not sure what Mike Knight was doing. He turned in very early there, didn't he? He completely cut the corner basically, but you can't because the barrier's in the way.
Yeah, questionable for Mike, and as we'll see here, it sounds like he ran into some more problems. A large crash with Sebol at the chicane, and that's Simza as well, and Salas in the Marussia in a large crash. And here is Shy Guy in the Force India trying to get up the inside of Pingu, but nothing happening there. I'm not sure what, and Pingu hits the wall, and Shy Guy loses out from that. Meanwhile, more problems for Mike Knight. More stack-ups at the back of the field here. really rough start. We had a safety car in F1SL. I'm sure it would have been deployed. We don't. And
yeah, it's like watching a Scots race here.
more problems for Mike. As look at this, there's 4 cars battling really hard into the hairpin, and lots of contact, side-by-side action. It's really fantastic stuff, but the same way it's not particularly fun if you lose out to contact.
And it just proves that what Sam said earlier about just heading right off, just a bit off the track, you do hit that wall and you will lose a lot of time.
Exactly, it's all about momentum, not making mistakes around Monaco. It's all about consistency, and that's what's allowed drivers like Doman and Pelbel to just dominate here. As we can see, that's Arjun in the other HRT, Lands of course leading the race, who made a mistake, and Mike Knight got past the pair of them. And
Sebel goes up the inside as well.
And there's that pass from Shy Guy as well, getting around 2 guys there, as I think that was Shimek made a mistake at the chicane, and now we didn't see this earlier because there's so much action happening. We have to have this long replay, and Jono now attacking Shy Guy to the outside. And as you can see, Walkinger made that mistake and they split around him. We did just about catch a glimpse of that. That was a fantastic little move from both of those drivers. And it's really hard to place your car in exactly the right position to make the right moves, and there's Arjun making that mistake. Just carnage.
Looked a little bit like he tried to block Mike Knight there.
Yeah, who knows, because Mike Knight will be on the offensive now, has to catch up a lot of time in order to get back into this race. Meanwhile, here we are on board with Doman, who has fought his way up to second. Shimek makes a mistake at the hairpin, and now Jono is going to be all over him going through the tunnel. Gets a nice exit out of the corner before the tunnel, and doing reasonably well to defend against him now. And Doman coming through the fast chicane at the swimming pool after to back, and look at this, 3 cars really close together here for 4th, 5th and 6th.
For this high speed section coming down now into the last 2 tight corners. Jono makes a mistake, he's going to lose ground there as Doman sets another fastest lap. Yeah,
he's really setting off after Lands. Of course, there has been a little bit of controversy over this race because Doman, of course, is our server host, and there has been reports of lag from some of the drivers. We'll see about that later in the race perhaps, but for now everything seems to be fine. Maybe Mike Knight having some problems, we don't know. He did turn in very early there. Meanwhile, here is a battle between Shimek, I believe, in the Red Bull and Shy Guy in the Force India. Shimek, after having a great starting position, didn't manage to translate that across into a great start, getting involved in that crash. Meanwhile, here are the 2 Toro Rossos in 8th and 9th position. Not the sort of start they'd envisaged, especially from the front row, and they crash! They crash into the chicane, they're side by side, and look at Sebel looking to take both of them here, and Sebel goes around the outside in the swimming pool chicane, and now they're fighting back, and he gets back past him. Incredible stuff, and Sebel crashes there. Great battling there.
That's the problems when you run in too close to your teammate. You know, you don't want to take your teammate out. That's the last thing you want to do in any race, and that's exactly what we saw there.
Yeah, that's incredibly embarrassing, if anything, to crash your teammate out, and especially Mike Knight, who is leading the championship and will certainly be looking at damage limitation today after that awful start with the problems. Meanwhile, Sebel in the final points paying position on lap 6. And he's having to defend very hard against Arjun. Looks like he almost cut him off there, but he managed to keep it for now. And meanwhile, Lands is just about keeping the gap to Doman, just about big enough that he might be able to hold it. Pit stops, we're expecting around 2 stops here at Monaco today. Some people may try to 1-stop it, some people may pit early for 3 stops. And there's Arjun now going right into the wall there on the entrance to the final few corners, and again into the wall, and he's going to get passed by Arson in the Sauber.
Not the greatest of races for Arjun so far then. We head on to Lands as he goes through the long straight just through the tunnel. Gonna come down into this chicane. Will he take it clean? He does. So Lands then still keeps his lead. He's driving a pretty good race so far. I think this race could go down to pit strategies.
If we look at the times, Doman is still closing down on Lands. You know, he's making up ground. I mean, he's still got to get past him. We've still got a long way to go, but he's definitely closing in.
Yeah, we've seen some great passing early in the race, but perhaps when the race gets more strung out, it does become hard to pass at Monaco. There's not much space on the track. Perhaps when the race becomes more strung out and there's more tyre wear, the cars are going slower, it might be a lot harder to see any successful passing manoeuvres. Lanz, of course, the winner last time out, also at the street circuit in Valencia, so he certainly knows how to get it done around a street circuit for the HRT team. Meanwhile, Creechman, after making a pretty superb start, missing all that action, and he's into the wall. And now Shy Guy's going to try and come up the inside, and Shy Guy's into third position. He managed to capitalise on a mistake by Creechman, and his teammate Schimek is also catching up. That's a shame for Creechman. It shows how it's all about consistency at Monaco. It's all about staying out the barriers and putting in consistent lap times rather than risking it perhaps and hitting the wall. Meanwhile, here's Doman, and he looks like he is risking it. He's right on the edge. The master of Monaco, winner of the last 4 races here, trying to catch Lanz. What is the gap down to now? It's 1.232 seconds, so it's definitely catching. Looks like the team orders there for the Red Bull team. Perhaps Creechman realised that Schimek is faster than him and decided to let him by, which is probably a sensible decision.
Yep, just to go back to Shy Guy there, he's got back up to third. He's recovered from basically hitting the inside of the Lowe's hairpin on the first lap and losing a good 8 positions. So he's recovered well. I mean, it has been due to other people crashing as well, but he's shown some consistency since that first lap crash. As Lanz continues to drive around the circuit, Doman, you can visibly see him getting closer and closer. You know, he may wait until pit stops, but there could be a pass before then.
Yeah, certainly. We've seen some passes, and also if Doman can just get on the back of Lanz and pressure him to a mistake, and Schimek dives to the pit lane, but he immediately decides better of it when he sees Shy Guys pitting perhaps, and Creechman also pits, and with pit stops have started, this is right on for a 2-stop strategy as they exit the pits. But what a move from Schimek! He looked like he was coming in and then so indecisive. That's incredible. I've never seen that before.
Surely he's going to lose some time there because he slowed right down getting onto pit lane, and then he had to re-accelerate again to get around that final corner.
Yeah, there's a crazy move as we see Arson also pitted. Meanwhile, Wakager is all over the back of Jono for the 4th position. So Wakager will be looking at getting a place here, and Jono will be looking to defend. As you said, the British driver in his first ever race, also Arjun in his first ever race, and Simza, I believe, all trying out the F1 Speed League for this big race, the Monaco Grand Prix. Wakager almost got to the back of Jono there, and he's got a good run off out of the swimming pool, but can't quite do anything through Anthony Noakes, and Jono decides to pit.
That'll release Wakager now, and he'll be setting on trying to catch down the leaders.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's all about clean air, because you can be really held up at Monaco by someone that's slower than you. Meanwhile, here is the battle for the lead. Doman is right up the gearbox of Lanz as Jono exits the pits, but if we can cut back to that battle for the lead, it looks really exciting. No, we're going to see Shy Guy who's going to pull a pass, perhaps on Pingu into Casino Square. Yes, he managed to get that one done, but here are the leaders. Doman just 3 car lengths back from Lanz. Looks like he went quite wide there on the entrance to the chicane, but certainly the battle for the lead is on.
Yep, Doman's really pushing now. I think one of these two will probably pit eventually because they need to take some advantage and not lose too much time to the guys that have already pitted.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, although they did have quite a large gap actually. The gap back to Schimek is 6.2 seconds already, and Wakager 9.5 seconds, Shy Guy 15 seconds, so these guys perhaps have a little bit of a buffer to fight it out by themselves. Maybe we go for the 1-stop strategy.
Who's that's crashed there? Is that Mike Knight?
Mike Knight, yeah.
Clearly suffering some lag issues.
Still in the wall, he's losing so much time here. He's been hit by Salas.
Yeah.
This is our championship leader. It's not good at all. Clearly this could explain perhaps his problems at the start.
This is not in slow motion here. That was a long time in the wall. He's lost nearly half a minute.
Yeah, that's a long time. The Shy Guy sets the fastest lap after coming out the pits. That's a 52, and the people who are still running about on old tyres are doing 54, so they've really got to pit. And the last lap for Doman was a 54.982, courtesy of the live timing produced by our very own Sam. A great job, Dade, if you're watching, we want you on this because he's done a great job. As that's a car stopped at the exit onto the tunnel. That's Simza, who is stopped at the exit onto the tunnel. I mean, this is quite characteristic of Simza, but still, as we've got a battle into the chicane, that's Schimek versus Pingu.
Yes, let's hope Sims gets back quickly as Schimek is pushing Pingu round this track at the moment.
It's not Schumacher, sorry, it's Kreechman.
Oh, sorry.
A mistake by me, I'm sorry, but and Pingu into the wall, and he was pushing him several times, and Pingu went to the wall. It's not, you don't have bumpers in F1SL. This isn't SCART, so I'm not sure how the race stewards will view of that, but that was quite a dirty move. You have to film. I also remember him earlier in the race too with some dives, and makes a mistake into the Casino Square, and Pingu is back alongside. Look at Jono hunting in the background, but Kreechman just about manages to keep the place. And Jono gives him a shot, and he gets past him on the exit of the hairpin.
That was a great little move there, you know. Oh, and we've got another car in the wall. Is this Shy Guy? This looks like Shy Guy's in the wall as well. He was really battling. He pitted, made up loads of time on the leaders with running nearly 2 seconds faster. But he's lost it all now. He's in the wall.
That's a terrible shame. He'll be completely gutted about that. Server issues. The name of the game at the moment at Monaco, but meanwhile Wockinger is in the pits. This is a crucial pit stop for him, and the only guys left to pit now are going to be the leaders, and they surely are going for a one-stop strategy.
Yeah, you'd think so. One more lap and they can easily make it. They just have to run the same stint again. We'll see how it pans out though, whether it'll work or not.
Meanwhile, here is Doman, and he looks like he's got the lap car of Mike Nike in between him and Lance. And Shy Guy suffering issues.
And he's lost more time. What's going on here? He's definitely got more issues. He's done a full 360 basically and gone into the inside of the track.
Doman is first to blink. Doman is in the pits. This is an absolutely crucial pit stop. He's going to be 14 seconds behind, so that's around how long it takes to make a pit stop. He has to do an absolutely incredible outlap now in order to beat Lance out of the pits. This has to be his best, and there's a Red Bull coming. That'll be Schumacher, but he manages to keep in front of him. That's absolutely crucial too. And let's see what happened here. That was the replay earlier of Kreechman versus Pingu, and it was quite a dive, I must say. There's Shy Guy suffering even more issues.
So it's happened to him 3 times now in the space of 2 laps? It's ruined his race completely, you have to admit.
Yeah, it was the UBS curbs last week out at Valencia. None of those this time, but this time it's just the lag issues, it looks like. It doesn't look like it's just the one driver either. Here's a replay then of, I believe that's Schumacher's pit stop. So he was in and out again, and he nearly managed to beat Doman out the pit. So Schumacher could be a contender in this race.
Yep, we can confirm that after this pit stop, Schumacher went and set the fastest lap of the race of a 51.7. He's very quick there.
Indeed, and look at this battling, freeway battling. We missed this because we were concentrating on Shy Guy, but look at that, into the chicane. And fantastic stuff, and looks like he's going to go around the outside, is he? Not quite making it around the outside into the back.
Kreechman on the fresher tyres, he'll want to get past Pingu as fast as possible. He's really slowing him down here, you can tell.
Yeah, and
Jono's battling away as well.
And Kreechman will be annoyed that he lost the position, because obviously Pingu got to be annoyed at him too, as you can see Schumacher coming out the pits there in front of him. Pingu's going to be annoyed at him too. Perhaps he felt like he was done an injustice, as he looks to the outside, but nothing doing there. And now Jono's going to try up the inside of Kreechman and can't make it past. Look at how much they're fighting for just inches on the racetrack, and Jono makes a fantastic exit. Oh, there's a big crash into the hairpin. Wow.
Great move there by Jono. He just took the advantage, went straight up the inside in one corner, straight up the inside in the other, past 2 drivers, 2 corners. That's perfect.
And Pingu, when he was trying to give back the position to Kreechman, that actually cost him more time, and then trying to give the position to Wockinger, because he hit the back of him, he actually cost Wockinger time. Who's this in the pits now? Is this Pingu?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I just missed the graphic there, and Pingu then with a quick pit stop, and he's going to come out behind Seville, so not the best pit stop, you have to say, for Pingu, but perhaps his strategy, leaving it a bit too late. Meanwhile, I'm interested in the battle for the lead, because before we went to replay, Pingu cost him more time. Lance is now in the pits, and this is absolutely key. We'll probably see Doman come around the back of the circuit around now, watch the swimming pool chicane, and there is Doman. Is he going to beat him out the pits? Lance has to have a very fast pit stop. It's 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%. He's out of the pits now. And there's Doman and Schumacher, and Doman takes the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. The King of Monaco is back in the lead. Our ticker shows Lance in second, and Lance has more problems.
Salas hit the wall on the outside. Lance went to miss. I don't know if that affected his concentration because he went straight off into the wall there.
Meanwhile, don't call Doman the winner yet because Šimek is right on the back of him. Remember the fantastic battle that Šimek and Doman had last year? It's all over our title sequence. One of the best battles that's ever been at Monaco, and it looks like we're going to have a replay this year because Šimek is right on as we see Wakinger pass the other Red Bull of Creechman. Meanwhile, here's Land. He's got to be completely gutted with that, and he crashes! He crashes at the chicane and loses more time. He's gone from the lead to 5th in just 1 lap. Absolutely incredible how your fortunes can change at Monaco.
Yep, I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether it's lag or it's just pressure's got to him, but he's made so many mistakes on this crucial outlap, and that's key, is the outlap. You've got to get it perfect.
Meanwhile, Šimek is 0.239 off of our race leader, Doman, and this looks like it's going to be a really, really exciting battle. Truly a massive change of events there. We saw Doman come in the pits just 1 lap before Lance, and he must have got a super outlap, and also I guess Lance can't have had the best in that because he must have gained around a second there. Absolutely fantastic job from Doman, and also a great job from Šimek because he pitted 2 laps before either of them. But however, having said that, he may have to do another stop today, whereas Doman may not. Oh, Šimek over the curb! That's going to cost him loads of time. That's going to cost him ages, and he's lost loads and loads track position to Doman.
All those fastest laps that he put in were wasted right there in one moment. Just clipped the little, black and white curve, black and yellow curve, sorry, and that's it. Off into the wall, loses all his momentum.
Having said that, Doman can make a mistake just as easily, and there's still plenty of laps to go. 12 laps at least left in this 30-lap Monaco Grand Prix, and Jono really impressing on his debut for Caterham. He had a very early pit stop there, remember, so perhaps that could factor into how well he's doing at the moment. He might be on old tyres. We can see that Wakinger seems to have some great straight line speed on him, and Jono makes a mistake. Jono into the chicane, and that's Wakinger and Lance getting past. Meanwhile, here is Lance then trying to attack Wakinger for this final podium position, and he's right on his gearbox. Nothing, no space available into Anthony Nodes. Wakinger doing the great blocking, and lands into the wall at the final corner, and that really, really isn't good for him. We've seen him have lots of problems, and attacking Wakinger a little bit too hard, just overstepping the mark and hitting the wall. It's a terrible shame. Meanwhile, we see Sebel coming to the pits and having a less than stellar race for Ferrari.
Yep, Sebel just won the GP2 race here 2 days ago, so he's got a bit of a high at the moment, but it's not really helping him here. He's still in the low points paying positions, which is not where Ferrari want to be.
Yeah, but we just saw Mike Knight there having a good battle with Arsene, and certainly Mike is in damage limitation, going after his championship hopes, with Lance doing reasonably well, Doman doing fantastically. Mike Knight really has to try and pick up every point he can, because every point could be crucial when it comes down to the finale at Interlagos. Meanwhile, here is Lance battling with Jono. He managed to get past him, but then he made that mistake in the final corner trying to pass Wakinger, and that's Creechman into the pits again. So could both Red Bulls be on a 2-stop strategy, because Creechman's pitting again from 5th position, was that, coming out in around 7th. So this perhaps is important data for Šimek's engineers to have a look at, and that's would be Pingu just about getting around Creechman, and there's been no love lost between these two in this race. So Pingu will want to defend for all his might against Creechman, and Creechman will be really wanting to get past without many problems.
You can see it here, Pingu's got much older tyres, so he's going to be much slower down the straights, and once again Creechman is trying to push him around the track. But he's got past because Pingu's made a mistake coming onto the straight. He just clipped the inside of the corner, and that's it. He's lost all his momentum. As we look at a replay of Jono now hitting the inside wall at the Lowe's hairpin and getting in the way of a couple of back markers there, and hitting the wall again, and Shy Guy gets past as well.
Yeah, those back markers been real problems here. I believe we're about to see a replay of that's Salas in front, yes, and Salas crashed there at the hairpin and held up both of them, so costing both of them a lot of time.
Yeah, the crashes come so fast, there's nothing you can do about it. Shy Guy hits the wall again, loses the position, back to Jono.
Yeah, Shy Guy having all those issues earlier in the race, and now just also in damage limitation. as we're concentrating now on the race leader, Doman, doing a fantastic job, although Šimek is keeping him honest, he's not letting them get too far ahead.
And I can tell you, on this last lap, Wackinger has set his personal best of the race, so don't count Wackinger out yet. He'll be chasing the leaders down with all he can try.
Absolutely, it's going to be a really rip-roaring finish to this Monaco Grand Prix, I'm sure about that. We've seen a few races fizzle out at the end, but this one looks poised to be interesting with pit stop strategy, tyres going off, and also all these lag issues that we seem to be seeing.
Yeah, because Doman being 4 times winner here, well, for the 4 past years, and Kreutschmann's just gone into the wall. But Doman, because he's the host of this server, maybe has a little advantage over some people's lag. We've seen Shy Guy lag. Mike Knight lagged into the wall for, what, at least half a minute. Seen a few other lags from Pingu and etc, etc. And is that Pingu just gone into the wall there, I think?
Yeah, that was more contact with Kreutschmann, so the saga continues. At least 3 or 4 separate incidents these two have had on the track, and both of them are going to be furious at each other after the race, both blaming the other, I presume. Meanwhile, here's Jono out the pit, 8th place, after he was running in the podium just 4 laps ago. Positions can change so quickly at Monaco.
I think these new tyres will help him out loads, because as you can see, Sebel down in 10th place has just set the fastest lap on that lap out of anyone. Not the fastest lap of the race, but just the fastest person on that lap, just because he's got new tyres on.
Yeah, so certainly it could mean something. Here's Doman leading the race by 3.5 seconds. He's starting to stretch out the gap now. Wackinger is back 9.2 seconds down. And of course, this race has always been dominated by Polish drivers. But this year, a Polish driver is yet to win, with Mike Knight and Lance, and also Shy Guy taking victory in this test race. So certainly Doman will be looking to lead home this all-Polish podium if they can hold on for the next 7 laps, but certainly there'll be some guys who want to have something to say about that. Here's Jono catching up then to one of the Toro Rossos, I'm not quite sure which.
I believe that might be Mike Knight.
Yeah, so Mike trying a slightly different strategy perhaps to save his race after that awful start.
Can really see the difference in tyres. Jono's just pitted and he really caught up on that straight at the beginning of the race. And someone else just, was it Simsy goes straight into the wall.
Simsy's a bit of a national hero really.
No.
Dallas, solid.
Jono gets on the inside, oh Mike, hit the wall, big crash.
Hit
and
someone.
Jono slows down.
I think it's actually Pingu, he's next to him on the ticker, so
yeah, made a mistake there. Mike Knight's all the way back down in 10th, but Jono does the right thing and waits for him, and double crash there. Perhaps that's lag. Both Sebel and Jono there suffering, and even Doman seems to be suffering, and he's a server host, so maybe there's a slick and oily track. Certainly no rain in the F1 Speed League, unfortunately, although they do have rain in the Porsche Super Cup. Here's a replay then of that crash. Let's see exactly how it happened, whether Jono should have waited. Indeed, as they get down at the swimming pool chicane, yes. Definitely Jono's fault there. It extended him to wait so that he won't incur a penalty. Sorry?
We're pretty much wheel to wheel though.
Yeah, but perhaps Jono had a little bit of understeer as they went into the corner. An attacking move from Arsene on Arjun right in front of his teammate Lance, who's trying to get back up to the podium after problems after he led the first stint of this race.
Yeah, this is not for points, this is just for pride really, all batting out of the points paying position.
Kreutschmann then, he also had a fantastic start. He was second for the first few laps until also making mistakes. It's just, have we seen Doman hit the wall once in this race? We've only seen Šimek hit the wall once we've only seen Šimek hit the wall about once or twice, so it's all about who can be consistent. That's a big crash from Kreutschmann, who looks like he just got loose, as the Americans would say, out of the chicane and went straight on into the wall at the exit. But yeah, as I was saying, it's just all about consistency, all about managing to thread your way through the barriers, just like it was at Valencia, trying to thread your way from the UBS curves, and that is what's going to win you the race.
And Arjun is charged down on Arsene here. He's just set his personal best lap of the race, and he was the fastest car on track last lap around. So he's definitely got a move on here, trying to get into at least 11th and maybe have a shot at getting the last points paying position if anything happens to any of the front runners.
Yeah, and Arson there just hit the sleeping policeman, the yellow and black curb, and they lost that position, going skyborne, airborne even. And Jono there also into the chicane. Again, a dismal race for Jono, and Sebel's up the inside into the back. Through the swimming pool chicane, and there's no problems there, and Jono swaps back to the inside, maybe not quite through the final corners, and he's going to maybe have a go. No, it's a bit dangerous there. Onto the home straight, they're side by side, wheel to wheel stuff, and Jono glitches past there.
Yeah, more problems for Shy Guy there. He's into the wall again. Creechman's going to be all over the back of him now, and he's just set his personal best lap of the race as well, so Shy Guy's got a real worry on to try and hold on to this 5th position before the end of the race.
Yeah, Shy Guys tried to 1-stop, whereas Creechman came in earlier, remember, for a second set of tyres, so certainly 2 stops actually probably was the best strategy. But it would seem that the front runners are just so fast, it didn't matter that they did the wrong strategy, they're just that fast. Or perhaps they're able to save tyres better than the guys who are running with lag and with slower pace. So Creechman managed to get past me, he had an awful final corner, and Shy Guy tries to swap to the outside, but look at the straight line speed he has on those older tyres. Can't get past it. Oh, Creechman on the curb and into the wall at the exit of Sandoval. And Shy Guy is back past, so we promised a rip-roaring finish. We're not getting it so much for the podium position. Doman is out in front by a big lead over Shimek and then Watkinger. But still, a great battle for the 5th position.
Yep, it's usually the case. You know, the leader settles down near the end of the race, and it's usually the guys back in the pack fighting it out for everything they've got. And I can promise you, I'm sure on the last lap we'll get something exciting.
Yeah, the last lap of Monaco is always an exciting occasion because people usually are just kept up behind someone and they realise it's their last chance. They'll just dive for it. And oh, Shy Guy there into the wall just as we went to replay. Shy Guy lost that 5th position to Creechman, and here's a replay of Jono still fighting with Sebel. And that's how he lost the position into the chicane. This is a replay of the battle we saw earlier. Maybe there was something we didn't pick up on. Perhaps we cut to a different shot.
No, it's a good. I think it's just because it's a great battle here. Some great side-by-side action, which we've had all day, haven't we?
Yeah, uncharacteristic. Oh, that's what we missed. That is what we missed. And here is Mike Nike, and he is looking to get back points. He's going to think about 3 wide. Sebel puts the block on him. I'm not sure that's allowed. Changing direction there. But Sebel puts the block on him and now defends to the inside of Jono. So this is what we missed. A great three-way battle here for those final points paying positions, so maybe not the top position, but still battling right to the end of the Monaco Grand Prix. This isn't characteristic of the Monaco circuit, of course. Usually the tight confines of the circuit severely limit overtaking, but we haven't seen at all this race. We've seen 3 different leaders with Land, with obviously Mike Nike for the first few corners, then Land after that, and then Doman. And, oh, that looks like a little mistake from Sebel, and Jono is right up the inside into the final corners. Jono gets his way past quite roughly, a lot of contact there, and Sebel nearly going to launch off the final corner onto the main straight, but not quite. And here the battle continues as we can see both of them flying over the swimming pool chicane, and Mike Knight making up one position there. And there's a Marussia in the wall, and would that be Flam or Salus? Salus is 2 laps down, Flam is 1 lap down, so either way it doesn't really matter. Marussia certainly not having a good race at Monaco. Meanwhile, Mike Knight has made up a position, which is very important for the points, and Jono has managed to get away. Sebel now right over the back of Mike Knight.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Knight's on older tyres here because Sebel's still faster down the straight. So he goes for a dive up the inside, but goes wide. Mike Knight with the switchback, nice move, regains
Mike
his
very,
position.
very intelligent racing there, but look at the straight line speed that Sebel is going to have. He jinks left, and Mike, ooh, that was blocking. I wouldn't accept that. That was certainly blocking. I wouldn't be happy about that if I was Sebel. I'll be looking to force the issue now because he moved more than once. And ooh, around the lap car, Sebel diving up the inside, but he hits the wall. He hits the wall, and that is
with only a couple of laps to go as well. That surely ruined his chances of getting more than 1 point here. As Doman comes around the final corner,
and he's going to start his final lap now of the Monaco Grand Prix. His lead is at a massive 7.151 seconds. Just waiting for the ticker there. and it looks like he's got it in the bag as long as he doesn't have any reliability issues, which is very unlikely.
Yep, he can cruise around now, wave to the fans, enjoy a cup of tea. He's got a good race win here.
Yeah, certainly, and he'll be the 5-time winner at Monaco, which is certainly an incredible achievement. Pelwell won it 4 times. He managed to equal him last year after that fantastic battle with Šimek, and if he manages to make it around half a lap, little bit of a mistake.
Was that his first mistake of the day?
I believe that was his first mistake of the day. We saw it in the F1 Tomasalis.com F1 League, remember, with Papolino coming to the line, he made a mistake. Maybe that. It was the US Grand Prix, but enough of that. Off the final corner, Doman is the king of Monaco, and he is going to become the 5-time winner of the Monaco Grand Prix. Doman wins for McLaren, and Šimek now coming through second. It's an all-Polish podium, and there's still a battle to be had. Pingu versus Jono on the final lap. He has a lot of speed with those new tyres. He's looking to the inside. Pingu is trying to block. Pingu does block, but jinking left and right into the chicane now. And Jono is right on his gearbox. He's going to try up the inside into the back. No, he's going to the outside. And he hits the wall. He hits the wall, and Mike Nike now is going to try and make a position from 9th place. Mike Nike earlier having an incident with Sebel, and it's not over in the Monaco Grand Prix. Jono can maybe have a go back at it through the final corners now. Mike Nike has got 2 points out of an otherwise awful race. They ran to line, his tyres went out, of Pingu doing there, but he managed to beat Mike Nike. Perhaps he was thinking about Team Orders, the championship contender in that team. But
It must have been
a late Team Orders. It didn't work because he managed to beat into the line.
It must have been a late call over the radio there.
Yeah, I can't quite understand that from Pingu. I mean, this early in the season, he could do well. He's won races in a Porsche Super Cup. Pingu certainly could be a championship contender, especially if Mike Knight has issues later in the season. So
have to ban the team.
Yeah, ban Ferrari, ban. So 3 different incidents of team orders this race. So Pingu waiting for Mike earlier in the race. There's also team orders between the Red Bulls. Creechman let Šimek past as Šimek went on his way to that fantastic second position. Really, pit strategy played an important part. 1 stop versus 2 stops. 2 stops did look to be faster with Creechman, but 1 stop, those guys were just so fast or lag free. Perhaps that could have contributed to the Polish podium today. Although having said that, we did see problems perhaps for some Polish drivers too. So Shy Guy, Mike, Lands all running into issues. Jono, what did you think of the race?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We saw quite a lot of battles, to be fair. Monaco living up to its name. Battles all coming down to the very last corner. Jono made a pretty idiot move on the outside of Pingu and stuck it in the wall. We've seen quite a lot of lags. Could be due to Doman's connection, or maybe just due to the actual people's connection anyway. But yeah, overall a pretty good race, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, what a fantastic win from Doman. 5 wins in Monaco. It's not to be sniffed at. That shows he is the absolute master of this circuit. Really, really impressive, Sam.
Yes, well, what can you say? He led straight after the pit stops, and from then on, that was it, really. He just walked away with it. He did have a bit of a trouble with Šimek, but the consistency was there with Doman. That was key. Like you said, going back to the very start of this race, consistency was key.
So we'll get you the race rundown right after the podium celebrations, an all-Polish podium. Fantastic scenes for the 3 Poles on the podium, ahead, of course, of the Euro 2012 Championships in Poland. That's this result will give them some motivation going into that. Doman, Šimek, and Wockinger also 1-3 for the McLaren team, and certainly a boost to Doman's hopes of defending the championship. Lanz comes through in 4th after he led the early stint of the race, and Creechman, after he made a fantastic start, had a pretty controversial race. First of all, he crashed Wockinger in the first laps, then had several incidents with Pingu. Certainly not the cleanest of races for Creechman, but he comes through with a solid 5th position. We'll see what the race stewards have to say about it.
Well, what can you say about 6th place man Shy Guy? He's had an absolutely shocking race. He'll be very upset with this result. Not down to his fault really, because he had 3 bits of lag in about 2 laps, where it dropped down from 3rd and eventually finished 6th. You know, what I was most upset about was Shy Guy's times. As he came out the pit lane, he was chasing down the leaders, and on an alternate strategy, you never know, he might have been able to chase Doman down, maybe not. Anyway, 7th place now is Pingu, just finishing in front of his teammate Mike Knight. I'm not quite sure that that's how they wanted it to finish. I think Mike Knight was calling to finish in front of Pingu, but in all, a terrible race with Toro Rosso. This is really their first bad race of the season here, and that will hurt them in the Constructors' Championship. 9th place is the new boy Jono. He picks up 2 points in his first race ever, but it could have been a lot more. But a few silly mistakes near the end, and he dropped from a potential 7th down to 9th. And rounded out the top 10 with the final points paying position is our GP2 Monaco winner, Sebol. He had a fairly average race, but he was still miles ahead of the guys behind him.
Yeah, and he can't have been too happy with those blocking manoeuvres from Mike Knight. I certainly was a bit outraged to see that in commentary, because Sebol, if he got past him then, he perhaps could have set off after Pingu and got a nice finish for the Ferrari team, which would be very popular with the fans at Monaco.
Yep, so down in 11th place is Arjun. Not the best races from him, he's finished 1 lap down, but he probably did have quite an enjoyable race, because down in 12th position is Arsen, and Arjun and Arsen were battling pretty much the whole race. There's only 6 seconds separating them, so a good little race between them there. In 13th place is Flam, who still hasn't actually scored any points in this F1SL season, and we've just completed race 4, so he's still yet to make his mark on the board. Down in 14th is Salas. He won't be very happy as he got beat by his teammate and he finished 2 laps down. But he's actually on 2 points in the championship, which of course isn't the greatest. And down in 15th, a poor race for Simsy. I think he's been having a little bit too much Dallas salad.
I cannot believe I managed to get into the commentary. It was fantastic. So before we all crack up too much, let's move on to the standings. Mike Knight manages to defend his championship lead, but Shimek and Doman are catching 57 points and 53 points between those two. And look at how close it is for the second position. Then there's Wockinger, Lanz, Shy Guy, between 57 points to 48 points, second down to 6th. Absolutely fantastic battle for that second place in the championship. And Mike Knight, of course, could be caught if he has any more races like this. It'll be a fantastic championship battle we're looking at.
So now we've got arguably the number 2 drivers in the 2 Red Bull teams. Creechman and Pingu are nearly neck and neck, only 2 points separating them. They'll be looking to perform better and catch up with their more successful teammates so far this season. Then we seem to fall off a bit of a cliff here, and we drop down to
it's like the F1 Speed League Elite, isn't it? Those top 8 are like the elite, and then after that, nobody else scores points.
It really is. It's basically each race you've got a bunch of drivers battling it out for 9th and 10th. So we have a whole clutch of them: Strike, Popo, Arjun, Jono and Salas, all on 2 points. Most notably, Jono here got 2 points in his first ever race.
Down in 14th place is the Ferrari of Sebel, who has 1 point, which he managed to pick up today, so he's now off the 0 mark. In 15th place is Arsen. He happens to still be on 1 point, and 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th, all with 0 points, are Flam, Klikoy, Bulbinek and Simza.
Yeah, so that's really interesting seeing that split in the table starting to develop. But another battle which has truly heated up is the Constructors' Championship. McLaren have now taken the lead with that fantastic result combined with Toro Rosso's awful result, and are now 2 points ahead of Toro Rosso, 104 points to 102. Red Bull have 89 points, they're sort of stalking back down in third place. Hispania have 51 points, and after that it's teams with only one driver. Force India, only Shy Guy drives for them really. Bolbanek is supposed to be driving for them, but he hasn't scored any points yet. Ferrari and Mercedes, Caterham, Murphy and Sauber all have hardly any points to their name, so it's really going to be a battle between those top four for the Constructors' Championship this year, but any one of them can still win it, although Red Bull and Hispania seem to be getting left behind. So, you've seen the most glamorous race in motor racing today, certainly one of the biggest races of the Turbo Sliders year, but join us next time on Sliders TV for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. We're going to have the entire 200 laps, all of the 500 miles, live to you on Sliders TV with commentary from myself, Jonathan Holmes and Sam Jones, and perhaps we'll get some Americans in the booth too, we'll have to see. It will be really, really exciting. I'm really pumped up for this one. If you want to get some latest Scots action, check out the Scots Shootout, where Lands has taken the victory to start off his Speed Weeks campaign. We'll also get you all caught up with the Rising Star action with Daytona 2. We'll have short highlights of that too, so certainly be sure to join us for that. But until then, thanks very much for watching the Monaco Grand Prix. It's been absolutely incredible. It's goodbye from me, James Tucker.
It's goodbye from me, Sam Jones.
And it's goodbye from me, Jonathan Holmes.
Good night.
In the rain, on the square, all the guards gathered there. A young girl shouts out my name, asks me to witness all of this shame. Yes, the carnage strewn all around, among Clang dead on the ground. Yes, the blood that flowed, the blood that ran, the slaughter of a holy man. Well, many good folk were spoken and died. Well, a young girl looks up and a planning cries, in the name of freedom, well, in the name of truth, well, I want to shout this from the roof. We need to reach out, to search within, 'cause we still got a world to win. Yeah, we got a world to win. It's not the power, it's the fear that corrupts. You can smell it here. It has no place in our lives. I urge you to call, I urge you to cry. Yes, many good folk have spoken and died. Well, a young girl looks up and the planet cries, in the name of freedom, well, in the name of truth, we need to shout this from the roof. We need to reach out, to search within, 'cause we've still got a world to win. Yeah, we got a world to win. In the rain, on the square, all the guards gathered there. The young girl shouts out my name, asks me to witness all of this shame. It's the carnage strewn all around, among Clang dead on the ground. Yes, the blood that flowed, the blood that ran, the slaughter of a holy man. Well, many good folk spoken and died when a young